Hey everybody, we'll get going in just a couple minutes as folks continue to trickle in. All right. Why don't we kick it off? We'll let the stragglers trickle in as they may. Well, welcome everybody. I appreciate all of you taking some time out of what I'm sure are busy days to spend some time with us. I'm Peter Maglathlin, Sierra's CEO. I'll tell you a bit more about myself in a bit. Before we dive in, wanted to make folks aware of the Q&A functionality. So if you do have a question you'd like us to address, I can't promise we're going to be able to address all of them. Please submit it via that functionality. It's going to allow us to organize the questions, address them at the right point in time during the town hall, and hopefully we'll get to as many of them as possible and make this interactive. But I'm going to turn it over to someone I'm sure many of you already know and allow him to reintroduce himself, and that's Brandon Hedges.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, Brandon Hedges. Been around Sierra for just a little while now, since about 2014 in various different capacities. I've had the pleasure of getting to know a lot of you that I'm sure that are on right now. And I've been in the real estate business since 2000. So I've definitely been around the industry and seen things change over the last 2 decades plus, which I can't believe it's been that long. But happy to be here today and looking forward to running through some of the content that we have to share. Jeff, I think I'll hand it over to you.
Cool. Thanks, Brandon. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Campbell. I'm the CTO, which, if you don't know, stands for Chief Technology Officer. It sounds really fancy, but basically I'm leading the engineering team. I've been here at Sierra since early August 2022, which, if my math is right, is about 9 months or so. Still learning, still tons to learn. Quick bio, I live in the Bay Area, in the East Bay part of the Bay Area, in a town called San Ramon, out in the burbs. I have 2 teenagers. My wife and I have our 2 teenagers. My son actually just passed his driving test today, so pray for me or have thoughts for me. I'm terrified now. I have been in engineering for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long, because it makes me feel old, but I've been leading teams for almost 14 years now, from really small teams to teams as large as 40. I've worked in customization engines. I was part of a startup group that founded a fintech mobile app. I led a team around marketplaces. And most recently I was at Stripe, where I was more leading programs, large projects. Came back to the leading of people because I really love leading engineering teams and growing teams. And I was really excited by the Sierra business model, by Ben and Brandon and the leadership that was in place, and an awesome team. And I think my job here is really to put the engineering infrastructure, team, process, software in a position where we can really grow. And that means we can scale with you all as you guys and your businesses grow, and we can deliver you really awesome products that you love. That's my agenda. Tons to do under the covers there, of course, but really excited to go on that journey with you guys. That's it.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey again, everybody. So Peter Maglathlin, I joined as CEO on October 3rd of last year. So it's been coming up on 8 months, and it's been a phenomenal, thrilling, exciting 8 months. I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts, with my wife and 4 children. Somehow we have 4 children under 4. My wife is the real hero and bears the brunt of most of that madness. I've spent the past 10 years prior to joining Sierra founding and scaling 2 different venture-backed technology businesses, one in the freelance talent management space, and the other in the construction technology space. I have a passion and a good amount of experience in building and scaling world-class technology organizations. And frankly, I feel like Jeff as well, very fortunate to have joined such a great team and such a great company. Ben Pesco, our visionary founder, has and continues to be a wonderful partner to me, and remains thankfully intimately involved in the business. His insight, his knowledge, his judgment is indispensable. And and I'm very thankful for how he's, welcomed me into the business. And Ben has built a phenomenal team, right? Many of whom you have met, and all the way from the leadership, down to some of our newest people. This is a very strong team, an amazing foundation. And, my job is to help us build upon that foundation. The foundation is strong. We know we can use improvement, but we've got phenomenal people in seats, a great product in the market. And it's incumbent on us to continue to improve on ourselves, the product, and our business to better serve you all. So I want to thank all of you again for joining. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you, and hope I can meet many more in the coming months and years. And I'm glad we're getting some time together today. Before we dive into the meat of the presentation, I just wanted to acknowledge you all for trusting us to help power your businesses. We are deeply committed to innovating on your behalf. I hope that shines through in today's presentation, in order to deliver you more valuable products and services. And we understand that we need to continue to earn your trust over time, over the subsequent quarters and months and years. And that's what I wake up thinking about all day, every day. We also acknowledge at Sierra that today's real estate market is a uniquely challenging one. There's really no sugarcoating it. We're here as a partner to enable you not just to manage through it, but hopefully emerge stronger as a result. And we'll talk about how we could potentially do that. And we're always open to ideas from our customers on that front. But excited to walk you through where we are today, where we're going, how we hopefully can continue to power your businesses, help you grow and achieve even better outcomes in the years ahead. And so, Brandon, why don't we kick it off? So I felt it was most appropriate to start by giving folks a little bit of detail around the partnership with Alpine Software Group. So this partnership was established in the summer of last year, and wanted to give folks a little bit of detail around who is Alpine Software Group, or ASG, as they're typically referred to. So ASG exclusively invests and partners with what's called vertical software companies. So businesses like a Sierra that are wholly dedicated to a specific customer demographic, like real estate teams, real estate agents. They built a niche in investing, building, and serving those types of businesses, and a track record that I think supports the approach. The focus tends to be on platform businesses like a Sierra that have a big opportunity for product line expansion, right? We have a phenomenal foundation or core in place, which we'll talk about, but we also have more ways to be able to serve you over time, which I think we're very excited to be able to deliver in the coming years. But I think the most important point about ASG is that it's all about growth and investment and not about cost cutting and financial engineering. And I think the last 8 months are very clear evidence of that. We are hiring across the board. We are investing heavily in our technology and our product because we believe that there's a big opportunity in front of us to serve you more deeply, to serve more of you, and to bring an even better product to market. And so, realistically, what does this mean for you? I think it's important to note that we remain a standalone business. We aren't merging with another company. I'm sure you all saw the news of Boomtown merging with Inside Real Estate. There's been a lot of fallout as a result of that. I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision on Boomtown and Inside Real Estate's behalf. However, it does tend to complicate things. That's not what's happening here. Ultimately, this is a capital partnership that is going to enable Sierra to invest more, hire more, and innovate faster. And we hope this accrues to your advantage and are confident it will over the course of the next few years. And so, why, trying to put myself in your seat, why should you be excited about our future? like I said earlier, we have a very strong foundation in place with respect to IDX websites paired with the CRM, complemented by our managed advertising. But we acknowledge we need to improve our core offering to meet the ever-changing needs of your business. And I assure you, we're making some really, really important investments on that front, some of which you can see, some of which you can't see, that we'll try to bring to light for you today. But given our strong core, we also believe there's an opportunity to broaden our offering to serve even more of your needs. These won't be taken lightly, and we hope to enlist as many of you as possible in that decision-making process. But that all sounds good, right? But ultimately, how is it that we are able to do that? Ultimately, it comes down to two things that I think this partnership with ASG is helping to inject into the business. The first is capital, right? With a bit more money, we're able to do things, but the most important thing we can do with that capital is invest in great people. Invest in our current people, invest in new people, such that both from an engineering, a product, a services, a support, a marketing, a sales perspective, we bring to bear the best talent in the industry. And I think this really positions Sierra. So what I like to say is play offense when a lot of folks are being forced to play defense, right? You're seeing layoffs across the board in technology and in real estate technology. That's not what's happening at Sierra. You're seeing purse strings being tightened at a lot of businesses out there. And while it's incumbent on us to invest responsibly and do so deliberately, we view what's happening right now in the market as a big opportunity for us and therefore for you. And we're making the necessary investments to be able to, I think, innovate in a world where that's being put in the back burner for a lot of our competition. Move ahead, Brent. Here we go. So wanted to spend a good chunk of time, which I suspect a lot of you were hoping to hear about, on how we're thinking about the future of our product. And wanted to start first, very high level. How are we viewing things strategically? And how are we viewing things thematically? So, the first theme that we've been thinking a lot about and have been doing a lot of planning around is this concept of personalization, making the platform capable of being personalized per team, per agent in a way that meets your unique needs, right? What does that mean in practice, right? What are we actually going to do that addresses that need? A few things are listed here. Admittedly, this list is incomplete. However, wanted to give some visibility into it. So something like roles and permissions. Give the right people the right access to the right data in order to streamline the experience according to each user's needs and responsibilities. This is important for teams, especially growing teams that are bringing on new folks. And we hear you on that front. The second is a more customizable front-end website toolkit. We believe this is critical to enabling all of you to continue to win. Brand you and your teams and your agents according to your desires. Organize content, messaging, and flows according to your needs, and differentiate yourself in your market. Admittedly, this is a longer-term play. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to require considerable investment and will take time to do it right. But we believe it's a strategic imperative and hope you agree. And then thirdly, we acknowledge that the platform today isn't quite as configurable, if you will, as you'd like it to be. And while it's, I think, just about as powerful or more powerful as any other tool out there, it could be more customizable, particularly with respect to all things pertaining to leads. And so this one, again, is a little bit more longer dated. But when we think about personalizing the experience, these are three of the core work streams that we're focused on. And this theme will continue to evolve as the market evolves, as we collect more feedback from you, and as we, codify our perspective on this theme. The second theme we've been thinking a lot about is heightening usability and platform performance. So there's a bunch that goes into this theme. It is a bit of a catch-all, but I think there are three fundamental components that are really important to understand. The first is what I'd call mission critical tools, right? There's a lot more to come on this later on in the presentation, stuff that's coming down the pike that we're really excited about and hope you are too. But we're not going to stop there, right? We're going to need to continue to offer mission critical tools that are responsive to the market and that you guys are asking for. An investment in usability. So, UI can be kind of, the efficacy of UI can sometimes be in the eye of the beholder, but we also acknowledge that the user interface has room for improvement. And it frankly can be intimidating to new customers. This is something that's going to be an ongoing incremental investment opportunity for years to come, but we believe there's a way to streamline the experience, make it more approachable, make it more streamlined such that it's more intuitive and your agents and everyone across your team can become more efficient in using it. And lastly is a faster platform, right? I think this one's pretty obvious and intuitive. And whether it's loading leads into the system or other data intensive functionality, it can be faster, right? Part of the reason Jeff is such an important hire for Sierra is to be able to address deep technical challenges like this. It's a solvable problem. We need to allocate the right resources at the right point in time. But it's something that we're focused on. And then the last theme is fueling your growth. I've only been here for about 8 months, but it's been really fun to learn about the growth of a lot of our customers over the last 3, 5, 7 years through their partnership with Sierra. And I think that, as our customers continue to grow, we need to help fuel that growth in a very real way. And there's a bunch that we're excited about here that we're confident is going to make a difference. So, the first is commingled feeds, right? Enabling cross MLS search functionality. This is a big one. It is not a small rock to move, but it is a solvable problem, and an improved search experience for customers who span multiple MLS regions, I think, is a big deal. We're going to talk more about this. It's something that is actively being worked on by a bunch of members of our product and technical teams, and it's core to our near-term technology strategy. Business intelligence. So, give you the data and insights you need to improve business outcomes. This is a big opportunity for Sierra and it's something we're excited about. Much of this data we already collect, right? It's a matter of making it accessible and digestible and approachable in a way that it can be used to make decisions. We've implemented tools on our side to be able to start to surface this stuff. It's going to take a little bit more time, but it's going to help to put more power in your hands to drive outcomes in your business and make decisions. The third is, automated lead workflows. So, I think especially when customers first come onto Sierra, or even folks that have been around for months and years, we've lacked out of the box functionality that allowed you to send leads through a funnel from day one, right? And so this gives you the opportunity to do just that. This is the type of effort that will be very iterative. We're starting with buyer lead workflows. We're very, very excited about this. It's going to be launched later this year and we'll talk about it. But will help to, we hope, power your business, give your agents a tool that is mission critical, and will really, really be important to teams as they continue to scale. And then AI, right? So there's a lot of buzz about AI these days, some of which is justified, some of which is hot air. But ultimately, when you sift through the noise, we fundamentally believe there are some exciting applications, particularly for generative AI across the real estate industry and within our platform, to enhance your workflows, allow your agents to be more productive, and drive automation in a way that historically just hasn't even been close to possible. There's going to be more to come on this one later in the conversation as well. But this is a look into, at a very high strategic level, how we're thinking about Sierra's product strategy. All the way from what our top 3 core themes are to what our deliverables we plan to be within those themes. This will evolve, right? I think ultimately this is a living organism, but we feel confident that these themes today are the right ones, and we'll continue to within them to brainstorm and make sure we're delivering the right products within them. So what have we delivered so far this year? There's a bunch to talk through here, and it pertains to the themes I was just talking about, along with a number of very important items that fall outside of the themes that you may or may have not seen, but are very important to address. So, the first is the stats module for front-end sites. I know some of you have access to this. Many of you are aware of it, but this allows you to customize your community page with relevant statistics powered by Save Searches. And the various module types include CTAs for e-alerts and market updates. We're currently working through requests to enable this on an MLS region by MLS region basis, and we'll have more information on that soon. But it is part and parcel to this personalizing the product experience. We think this can be very powerful. Agent reporting. So, this is granular data around metrics such as, average time to view new leads, new lead touches, inbound and outbound communications, and more. Data displays almost real time within 6 minutes. So you're basically always up to date. And it allows you to make better decisions and gain knowledge about how your agents are really performing, like line of sight into agent performance in order to drive agent accountability. This has been an open beta since last fall, and we're nearly ready to take it completely out of beta for a general release. Bulk actions. So, there's the bulk application of listing alerts. The primary manager for each account can now bulk apply Save Search e-alerts and market updates to your leads. You can even queue up multiple batches of bulk applied listing alerts. And it provides you with the option to quickly get property data in front of as many leads at a time, saving you, frankly, time and money, and providing you with additional client opportunities. And then there's this concept of bulk actions history, which is really an audit trail for the bulk actions applied in your account, designed for transparency, troubleshooting, accountability, and continuous improvement. And so excited about that as well. Again, pertains to platform usability and performance. And, we're very excited about the bulk actions that we've launched, and believe this is only a first step in enabling even more of that. In-app admin alerts. So, post announcements to your team members, both on the dashboard page as well as the footer, communicate about an upcoming team event. It's a way to stay more connected with your team, and drive better communication, across an organization. And then, some automations enhancements that vary pretty widely, and we're happy to walk you through at a more granular level should you be interested. With respect to fueling our customers' growth, reverse prospecting is one that we're incredibly excited about, and I think can be very, very powerful. So it enables you to match potential and featured listings to leads in your database utilizing really a proprietary set of criteria and a scoring system associated with it. so you can surface more opportunities from your existing database, and utilize the feature to also win potential listings. And so that within the three themes have been our core deliverables this year. There have been a ton of incremental improvements, a ton of other things we've released, but it's impossible to cover that laundry list in the time we have allotted. There are also some very, very important items that are happening behind the scenes that are more technical in nature, that are very foundational to our business, that I think are important to talk you folks through. And I'll let Jeff handle that piece.
Cool. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, so first one there is migration to a cloud environment. So you've heard this term, the cloud. Basically, that means you have an environment that's managed by somebody else. In this case, we chose Azure. What that means is we can what we call spin up servers as needed or spin them down. We can take advantage of lots of really cool tooling around backups, restores, monitoring, security updates. We can run things in a more cost-effective manner. We can have more visibility into the health of our systems. So we are completely migrated to Azure as of about 3 months ago. That's all of our systems, all of our data. There's still a ton more we can do there. But now that we're actually in a proper cloud environment, we have lots of leverage and flexibility. And this goes back to everything Peter said up to now, and what I mentioned earlier is building a proper foundation for growth. Now that we're in this space, we can do that. We're in a non-cloud environment. It's much more difficult to grow. You get more rigid, and it's harder to pivot and make decisions that are required for you to build really awesome products. Second one is security, super boring and geeky, but I'm going to cheat a little bit here and talk about some things we did also last year. We are fully up to date and using the best possible methodology and services for credit card handling. We also are treating personal identifiable information, PII, in the right way. We're encrypting everything. The CRM is behind a firewall, a proper firewall now, so that we have built-in checks for every single request to ensure that bad actors aren't able to access your accounts, that someone just doesn't want a DDoS and just take us down just for fun. We have protections in place for all of that. We also, in fact, we're in the midst of doing this now, is white hat vulnerability testing, just basically writing scripts to just pound on our systems and make sure we are not vulnerable to some common attack points. We're going to do this regularly. We're going to keep doing this every quarter or two to make sure that as we roll out new features and new updates, we're not exposing some vulnerability that someone could take advantage of. Last one is not a fun one, but it's critical for us. SMS compliance. SMS is built on a somewhat complicated structure of carriers and then services that actually interact or sit between us and those carriers. And those services allow us to do voice and SMS, so all the dialer functions that you guys are all familiar with. The rules change a lot. Most recently, we are required to register the businesses that are using the numbers that we assign out. That's a big one, really complicated. Most of you are aware of this, and it's effectively a new product feature for us, also an infrastructure requirement. We are well into the process of converting our customers into these, we call them sub-accounts. So you have actually a registered business with our provider, so they know who you are and you're confirmed, and you can send SMS and make phone calls to your heart's content. There'll be more changes. So we're trying to make this more flexible so we can react more quickly and less disruptively. But we're building infrastructure and processes to make this work better for everybody.
That is a great segue to the next topic, which is SMS compliance. So thanks, Jeff, for kind of teeing that up. I want to pause for a minute and kind of talk about some of the baseline or some of the foundation behind what Jeff was just mentioning. There are compliance changes, and we're certainly not in an industry where compliance is anything new. We deal with this from our commerce departments, from MLS boards. There are a lot of regulations and things that we have to keep our eye on. This is just another one of those. It's an additional level of compliance that is important, but it's it's more worldwide. This isn't just a real estate industry specific compliance issue. This is something that's much larger than that. And like I mentioned at the very early on, a lot of you I've had a chance to meet, some of you I haven't, and I've been in real estate for 2 decades plus. Have a lot of background and experience, certainly in messaging with customers, with leads, with cultivation and nurturing, and I get it. Like, we understand the importance of allowing you the flexibility to do that in the way that you feel fit and see fit, and use the tools that Sierra creates. We've got some great tools for messaging. Jeff was just talking about our dialer. It's powerful, and there's a lot of opportunity with that. The reason why some of these compliance changes are coming at us right now is that when you think about it in terms of who kind of where, if you follow the money, so the mobile carriers, the AT&Ts, Verizon, T-Mobile, they are the ones that are really pushing on limiting this, and that's because they see text messaging as a form of communication between 2 willing participants. That's why you hear the term express consent. That's why that's part of the TCPA. It's part of this kind of 10 DLC compliance, that they view it as, this is something that's wanted. It's something that I've opted into and said, I want to communicate with you on a one-to-one basis. So a lot of these regulations and a lot of the things that they're pushing for all of us in a compliance way is with that in mind. So when we're sending out an opt-out message as a part, appending it to the first text message saying you can reply stop to cancel, that is in furtherance of that kind of primary goal that the carriers have to ensure that that communication is a one-to-one and a message that people want to accept. That's why they have those rules built in. Anyone knows these days that when you get a message from someone, a text message that's unwanted, it's spammy, you can delete it. And on most phones, you have an option to also report that as spam. Those are the type of signals then that the carriers are creating algorithms around to see this type of message was sent more than once. It's sort of that stacking effect where they see now this person or this is coming through and we're getting it reported as spam. All of that is being done at the carrier level, and they're dictating kind of the terms of the game here. And as they see those events stack, then they start limiting the push through. And those are things that have an impact on your ability then to communicate with the people that do have that want to have a one-on-one or one-to-many conversation. So the programmatic changes that you see Sierra taking, these are steps that we've taken at the push from the carriers. And like Jeff was saying, there's kind of a layer in between that we have to deal with on a compliance side of things. We have to be able to prove that these things the carriers are asking for are being done in a programmatic way, that they're being done every time. And when there's a complaint, we're able to push it and say, no, this wasn't a spam message, because we've given them the opportunity with the opt-out messaging and the reply stop, and we're able to get the messages pushed through. Without those stop gates in place, we have a much harder time pushing against some of those algorithms that catch things that maybe they shouldn't. That's at sort of a high level, what the rationale is behind it. And I think one of the things we just wanted to make sure that we're conveying is that we take an approach that's not the most restrictive. We're not doing this to make it more restrictive than it needs to be. We're analyzing the requirements, we're looking at the options that we have, and we're taking a strategy that is as much as needed. And that's kind of the approach that we've taken, whether it be with email, phone calls, text messages, and frankly, a lot of the things that we do at Sierra. So it's something that's not going to go away. Like Jeff said, we're going to continue to see additional changes in this segment of the industry. And this is definitely not just Sierra. It's definitely not just the real estate industry. It's all of the people in our space, all the other vendors in our space, along with more of an industry overall. So that is our compliance. I know we've got, Peter, I'm going to hand it back over
now
to
we
you.
get to move on to a little bit more fun topic. Thanks, guys. I mean, this SMS compliance stuff's important, right? I can assure you we're doing everything we can and viewing this situation through a customer-centric lens, and per Brandon's point, seeking to do what's necessary, but only what's necessary. And we're going to continue to try to straddle that line. as long as we can. But let's look at what's coming soon, right? In the back half of this year. Kind of the notable features, sets of functionality that I wanted to make sure we called out and provided a little bit of context around. Many of these I know have been widely requested by our customer base, and we're excited to be able to deliver to you. So, the first is group text. This is probably pretty intuitive, but it allows agents to create a single means of communication, including multiple individuals within one text thread for transparency and consistency in communication. There are numerous user workflows supported by this, and these include multiple leads involved in the same transaction, additional employees of the firm such as an ISA, linked leads, lender introductions. Ultimately we're trying we're tying together what would be numerous separate conversations with individuals involved in lead qualification and beyond. And frankly, it can also be used as a networking and prospecting tool. I think like Intro to a Lender or something like that. Very excited about this. It is being worked on and will be launched later this year. So the next is the automated buyer lead workflow. We touched a bit on this earlier, but it's an out-of-the-box lead qualification workflow that provides really an automated system so agents can begin moving leads through the funnel right away. This allows agents to focus more on lead gen and closing deals, and fosters nurturing through, we think, very effective automation. It's important to mention that there will be very detailed training and support around this to make sure folks are well versed in using it, along with an ongoing evolution of the system, frankly, based on success metrics, market conditions, and what we think is going to be most effective for you in your business. And so I think feedback from you on this is going to be mission critical. It's going to be a living organism that we're going to need to evolve and iterate on, but we think is really important functionality to drive efficiency, productivity, and scale within your business. So the third is AI-driven content generation tools. So we mentioned AI briefly earlier, and it is all the buzz. But our initial application will enable agents to leverage generative AI to create blogs, community pages, other website content far more quickly by leveraging these massive data sets, simply by writing a well-constructed prompt, right? So I'm not sure how many of you have played around with ChatGPT or Bard, which is Google's product, but they are insanely powerful, right? If trained appropriately and put in the right hands, they can be really, really great productivity tools. This too will need to be launched in conjunction with some training such that folks understand the power of the tool, how best to use it. But we think it's what we're going to be launching will be unique to our industry, unique to our market, and really just the first step. Eventually, we think there are many powerful applications far beyond this. Think automated text messages or email responses. The way we thought about our first application of this technology is we felt it was best to wait until we're a little bit more comfortable with the technology before injecting it into the customer communication workflow, right? There's an application there, but we need to get it right. It's a sensitive workflow. And this is going to allow us to iterate and do that at the right and appropriate time. But it is a powerful efficiency and productivity tool that I think can be effectively like a cheat code for businesses and agents as the market only continues to become more competitive. The fourth is calendar integrations. So another widely requested feature. The value here pertains to centralizing a user's daily workflows really into a single system versus toggling across different software platforms. It ties together daily work into a single task manager and reminder system and provides a two-way communication process between our platform and your calendar provider, either Google or Microsoft. And in addition, we'll provide outcome tracking, which hopefully will be valuable for both agents and metrics with respect to performance management, agent accountability, et cetera. So another powerful efficiency tool. We know it needs to happen. It's going to happen. The final one is commingled feeds, right? There's been a little bit of chatter about this in the chat. I know this has been something we've been talking about for a long, long time. And this is all about the simplification of the UX, the search UX, by creating a streamlined site navigation workflow for leads and lead gen, right? A centralized search that'll provide results across numerous feeds. I think most of you, if not all of you, already understand this. But it's a big deal. It requires some meaningful infrastructure and database work, which is well underway. Like I said earlier, it's going to be launched MLS by MLS in a kind of puddle jump type of fashion. As we start to understand, needs and pockets across the country, we will begin to roll it out and hopefully can use feedback and hand raising from our customer base to help inform what that rollout process will look like. And so, I think this is a really exciting set of features. This is not complete, right? There are going to be a lot of incremental improvements, enhancements, infrastructure stuff launched in conjunction with this. But a look into the future around what's to come over the next few quarters.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, definitely a lot being worked on in front of and behind the scenes. Another thing that I think is important to share a little bit more insight for all of you on is how we're thinking about kind of the customer experience, the customer support, customer success side of Sierra. And even saying that that's a side of Sierra is a misnomer. I think one of the things, the way that we really look at the customer experience is that it's holistic. It's across the entire team, from the first time you encounter someone on our sales team through your entire journey with Sierra, whether that's months or years into the future. And we know how important that is. That is a foundational part of Sierra and our commitment to you as our customers, period. That is the thing that we know is what keeps you here and kind of drives Sierra's growth into the future. And we've gone through, one of the really cool things about being part of the ASG family is that they have experts. There's a lot of cross-training and opportunities for us to learn from other portfolio companies, from experts that live and reside right within ASG. And we've been going through a process of sort of reimagining and redeveloping this customer experience. There have been, over time, all of you have come in, you've onboarded, you've probably interacted with our training and education team. We've taken a lot of steps to make sure that that's more front and center, that there are more opportunities, that there are enhanced opportunities for you to interact with our training and education team through live interactions, through some of the virtual interactions through the Sierra Academy. And we have, we're very fortunate to have Joyce Wells, who's our CX leader. She has a vast experience in building this type of experience and this type of team. One of the things that we've added over the last several months is a strategic services division. And we have people that are dedicated in that role to help you develop strategies, whether that is just a need to bounce some ideas off, create a thought partner, paid services that we can do on your behalf to help you sort of build out some of the things that you could do on your own, but are maybe looking for some help to get started. We also have a whole vast variety of different partners that are really experts in various different pieces of the things that you need to do. And our strategic services division and department is here to help in any way that we possibly can. One thing that I know I've seen, at least over time, is in a lot of cases where we see another real estate tech partner be acquired or has some sort of capital event, that one of the things that happens as a natural kind of fallout from that is that there's a reduction in the support workforce, that they maybe try to offshore that team, or it just gets harder and harder to get somebody on the phone or get in front of someone. And We've taken the absolute opposite approach. We've really created more opportunities. We've been going through this kind of reimagining of the customer experience, adding in additional teams and adding in additional people to support our team, because we know how important this is. This is foundational for us as a company and for you as customers. And it's going to continue to be a work in progress. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep getting better. We're going to keep driving your growth and find better ways to support you as we move forward. So I think we have, a little bit more on the market. Peter, I hand it back to you.
Yeah, I think this can be somewhat brief, but I felt it was important to acknowledge. So, and all of you are as aware or more aware of this than we are, but obviously, depending on the market you operate in, transaction volumes are down meaningfully, right? And that has a real impact on your business. This is driven by a confluence of factors. It's really the rapid rise in mortgage rates that are driving historically low inventory, which is creating fierce competition. I know in Boston that's the case. I know in a lot of other markets across the country that's the case. And that's hard, right? While some positive signs are emerging in the market, some data around inflation is getting better. Some of the real estate market data is showing peaks or troughs in a way that's going to result in improvement. I think we all likely need to plan for this dynamic to persist for a little while, right? Likely through the middle of next year. And so in light of that, how do you plan for your business, for your agents, and for your future? This is easy to say, but it's a fundamental belief of mine, which is the best businesses, whether they're, real estate teams, independent brokerages, or real estate technology companies, can be forged during times like these. The disciplined and innovative folks out there are going to take market share and emerge even stronger, but it's going to require fast-paced change, an open mind, and likely some new tactics. And so, I like to believe there are a variety of ways we can help, and this is an incomplete list, and we'd love to hear from you how we can do a better job of helping you navigate through this. But a few things to note, right? Number one is, how do you get more out of your most valuable asset, which is your existing database of leads, right? The first, prospecting is a way, for sure. But then we have people at Sierra, both within the training and education staff and on strategic services, that are here to help, right? Training and education can get you trained up and coached up on how to do it yourself. Strategic services can actually implement things for you. And so if this is something you're seeking to get better at, we're here to help you. Paired with that, how do you drive more lead volume at affordable rates, right? Zillow's only getting more expensive. It's not a sustainable growth mechanism. And you need to diversify the ways you're driving lead generation. So I think, as most of you know, we offer PPC and Facebook ads. This is not a self-serving kind of marketing ploy for that. But if you have budget and you feel like this could be effective, we are a phenomenal outlet for it. We're a partner on that front. It's very affordable, and we'd love to work with you. An investment in SEO, this is something that can be daunting for folks. It's an area within Sierra that we have a ton of expertise. And, if there are ways for us to help you on that front, we'd love to. And then AI tools, we talked about this. There's going to be some really, really powerful new technology that can provide you an edge over your competition with respect to making you unique, generating unique content, and hopefully driving a higher count of organic lead gen. And so, ultimately, it's our hope that you can get the most out of our technology to create a competitive advantage, right? That's what we're in the business of, is enabling our clients to establish competitive advantage through the technology that we provide them. We're hopeful that some of these notable tools that are coming down the pike are going to be supportive of exactly that. So the automated buyer lead workflow, AI-driven content generation, and more. And as these are launched and become available, we want to partner with you in getting them live, making them impactful, and enabling you to see the value from them. And so that's all to say, we're at a very unique point in time in the cycle. It's certainly a challenging point in time. We acknowledge that. We feel it too, but it is temporary. This too will pass. How do we get better through this point in the cycle such that when things do improve, we're all prepared together to capture even more market and come out firing on the other end of this?
Looking through, Peter, I know, I think we're kind of wrapping towards the end here. Looking through to see if there's any questions that have come up that are, we got several people asking about timelines and, you know, a lot of things that we've talked about. And I think at this point, you know, we've tried to articulate what we're working on right now, what we're working on, you know, over the next few months. Don't have exact timelines on some of those things to be able to share with you all right at this moment, but can definitely assure you that Jeff and our development team and our product team are working very hard to bring these things to light sooner than later. There are a few questions that were more specific to maybe a particular either MLS issue or compliance issue or TCP related issue that may be more personal in nature. So I would definitely encourage you to reach out to our customer success team with some of those questions.
Yeah, and I've written down everything from the Q&A and can commit to getting folks followed up with personally on stuff that seems specific to them. I can assure you that's going to happen. One thing I wanted to address that I think has come up in several customer conversations I've had is the pace of product release, the pace of innovation. What does that look like today? Has it slowed down? What should it look like in the future, right? I think Sierra has built a reputation, a very strong one around rapid innovation, releasing products quickly, which is absolutely something we want to maintain, and not just maintain, but accelerate. I think something Jeff likes to say that I think is important to note is that ultimately at Sierra, we needed to slow down a little bit in the very near term in order to move faster. There were things we needed to address on the infrastructure and the database side, on the team side, from a technology perspective. We've hired a bunch of onshore phenomenally talented engineers who are now coming up the curve and are delivering great product. And so, yes, there was a perhaps period where you weren't seeing as much product come out the door. That wasn't due to us not innovating as quickly. That was fundamentally us needing to do things that we felt were going to be in the best interest of you, the technology, and the business over the medium to long term. We are committed to accelerating that pace of innovation. It's going to be hard given the standard that's been set by this company, but I can assure you it's something we're focused on and we don't take lightly. And so I just wanted to make sure that was out there. And if folks want to have follow-up conversations about what exactly that all means, we're happy to have those conversations, but it has come up and wanted to make sure we addressed it. I just saw a question from Barry around HomeBot. So HomeBot is a sister company of ours now. We're both part of the ASG family. We have an active conversation with HomeBot today around how we can integrate with them to create a user experience that is advantageous for both of our customer bases. And so it's something that we're actively discussing. I think, Barry, you and others, I think would be helpful to enlist in getting feedback on how we're envisioning that working. But I can assure you, a HomeBot integration will happen. I can't commit to a date, but they're very complementary products. We really believe in what they're doing. They believe in what we're doing. We serve a lot of the same customers. I think there's a big opportunity there. All right, well, I think we're pretty much at time. So
1 minute early.
yeah, 1 minute early. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining. I feel very fortunate to be a part of this company and to be serving all of you. I think we've got a really exciting future together. And I want to make sure we keep a very close tie-in to you guys. Hopefully we'll do something like this more and more often, but then want to continue to have group conversations, one-up conversations. The best way for me to learn is to hear from you, right? Ultimately, my most valuable time is spent talking to customers, and hopefully that remains a priority and will continue to be something I'm doing often. So thank you. And this was recorded. I suspect we're going to be able to share it. And so, for folks that weren't able to listen, we can distribute it out. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.